It takes time for you to find the camp in the dense wilderness. The camp is substantially bigger than you'd expected and looks like a large hideout for refugees. There are several thousand tired and weary people there, but the mood is peaceful. The camp is well organized, but there are only a few soldiers there, and it seems like they are not really well trained. It is unlikely that they cross the territory of the Sidhe. They are obviously trying to keep something secret. The people are friendly enough. They can't help but look to you as their savior. You start to talk with them about the hardships of your journey and try to get information about their troops, but they never give you a straight answer, and sometimes they even stay silent. The Empress waits for you in her pavilion, sitting behind a makeshift table. She's wearing a Roman dress, and her face is covered by a veil, which muffles her voice. She greets you in a friendly way, offers you a cup of wine, then asks about your journey.
I haven't drunk wine for an eternity,
she tells you bitterly.
I know I should share the wine with you to assure you it is not poisoned, but since I am unable to do so, I shall not take offense if you decline my gesture of hospitality.
You describe your travels in a few words, but soon you feel that you have to remind her you are here because she called you to discuss an urgent matter. She tells you she is not here on behalf of the Emperor. Naevia is here because she needs help, and she is also a harbinger of danger.
The former Roman province of Iberacum is ruled by Emperor Septimus Sulla, who ascended the throne with the help of a mighty artifact. But his mind was ensnared by the same magical treasure that turned him into an insane and a cruel tyrant. Septimus Sulla defends Iberacum from the Pict hordes and the Fomorian plague with the power of the wall, but that power has its roots in black magic. Sulla has to sink deeper into depravity to keep the magic he needs alive. The wall was built by a Roman strategist and emperor, Hadrian, to defend the province from the attacks of the barbarians. The wall runs from east to west, straight through the entire land. Its capabilities are provided by colossi which come alive when the emperor calls them. To keep the magic of the wall alive, the emperor pays the price in Roman lives. So the Caracallas, an ancient Roman family, started a rebellion against him. The rebels are hiding from the troops of Septimus, but their situation is grim because Sulla's legions are invincible.
The conversation is interrupted by voices from outside. A guard arrives and reports to the Empress that they have discovered a spy eavesdropping behind the tent, but he couldn't be caught. The scouts and a squad of soldiers are already after him. The Empress is thankful for your help, but she trusts her scouts, who know the area very well. But if you insist, you are free to send your man after the spy. When the interlude is over, the Empress apologizes. She tells you that this was a good demonstration of their weakness as refugees.
To keep the magic of the wall alive, the emperor pays the price in Roman lives. So the Caracallas, an ancient Roman family, started a rebellion against him. The rebels are hiding from the troops of Septimus, but their situation is grim because Sulla's legions are invincible. The relic suggested to Septimus to open the gates to the otherworld, so he let the ghosts of the 9th Legion possess the body of his legionaries. These soldiers are impossible to kill, because they are constantly returning from the realm of death. Furthermore, Iberacum is not enough for the artifact. It forces Sulla to expand to the south, and he is preparing his legions for the campaign. I arrived here to warn you and to ask for help. Septimus Sulla thinks that the relic belonged to Hadrian, but this is just one sign of his madness. As a matter of fact, it is none other than a shard of a relic called the Grail. I read the notes of a guardian in the archives of Iberacum after Sulla killed the man. The rebels are many, but only a few of them are warriors. The armies of Arthur may overcome the legions of the Emperor, but they will need the knowledge that the rebel leaders possess. No one knows their exact whereabouts. I only know that they are at the seashore west of Iberacum, in a province overrun by the Fomorians. Then I put my people at the mercy of King Arthur, and also offer him the treasures saved from Rome. I shall be more than happy to join your army, and my treasure also belongs to you as long as you use it in the fight against the tyrannical Caesar.
The Empress sweeps the veil from her face, and you suddenly realize she is a ghost.
My husband woke me up from the dead in his insanity after I died. As an eternal being, I know the ways of magic, and fighting is not unknown to me either. After I returned as a ghost, and I realized my husband was insane, I tried to leave this world, but I was forced to come back from death by an unknown force, just like the Ghost Legionaries. The Ghost Legions, like the Wall and the Relic, are also the tokens of his power. The Emperor opened gates to the other world, and you have to close them. The first one is at a monastery to the north of here, in the southern part of the area ruled by the Fomorians. Only the rebels can help you more, so you have to find them as soon as possible. Septimus Sulla thinks the relic belonged to Hadrian, but this is only the proof of his madness. Only the rebel leaders, the Caracallas, can answer this question. You have to find them as soon as possible.
The Empress steps closer to the bundle of maps on the table, pulls out an enormous scroll, and unrolls it in front of you.
No one knows their exact whereabouts. I only know that they are at the seashore west of Iberacum, in a province overrun by the Fomorians. I order my troops to get ready to go, and then I prepare my faithful ghost warriors to fight on our side.
You order your soldiers to defend the camp, and you leave with the Empress at your side.
All that Naevius Sulla told us seems to be true. According to our spies, Septimus Sulla rules his so-called empire with immortal ghost legionaries, and demands terrible sacrifices from his people, that he might defend the wall against the Pict hordes. You must venture on 3 important quests to defeat him. You need to find the exiled Roman nobles. Also, you can't fight an army where the soldiers keep coming back from the dead, so you must close the gates whither they return. And the stronghold of Iberacum must fall.
There are adepts among the Sidhe, who mortals would call wizards, though they themselves prefer the term art.
On my way.
Your wish?
Ready to serve. On my way.
On my way! Yes? On my way!
Yes, my lord. On my way.
Ready to serve. All right. Yes, my lord. Ready to serve. Yes, my king. Yes, my king. On my way.
On my way.
Mad Septimus Sulla rules his so-called empire, the former Roman province of Eboracum, with immortal ghost legionaries. He sacrifices his people to defend the wall against the northern hordes, and he wants to expand his territory. You have to find the Roman noblemen who know his weaknesses. Following the advice of the Empress Naevia, you've reached one of the biggest peninsulas on the western shores. The view is nearly perfect from the ridge. You can even catch glimpses of the sun shining on the sea from there. The weather is clear, so you can see the whole peninsula. There is a deep forest to your right, reaching down to the seashore, hills to your left, and a ravine right in front of you. At the other end of the crescent-shaped ridge, a ruined fort endures the wrath of the gales. The day passes uneventfully until dusk. Only one of the scouts returns from the ravine, but he didn't find any trace of the rebels. The other scout, however, hasn't come back at all, so you break camp and set off to look for them. You divide your army into smaller groups and advance through the hills. This is an ideal place for an ambush, so you send your scouts to the hilltops. Soon they report back about a dozen dead legionaries and a few slaughtered Fomorians. Shortly after the discovery of the dead legionaries, a band of marauding Fomorians attacks you. You successfully eliminate them without too many casualties, but you get injured in the fight. It is already getting dark by the time you leave the hills, so you have to find a place where you can set up your camp for the night. Staring at the flames of the campfire, you think about your choices. Suddenly you realize you may be able to find the rebels if you look for their campfires from higher ground. You concentrate on the flames, and soon you feel the presence of many campfires from various parts of the woods. There are too many, so they can't all belong to the tiny village of the Druids. You grab a torch, order a few soldiers to come with you, then go to find the fires. After a long journey in the night forest, you find the camp of the rebels. Hostile guards point their weapons at you and escort you to their leader. He is a proud-looking Roman who introduces himself as Tullius Caracalla and asks you what brought you here. When you mention the name of the Empress, Tullius Caracalla waves the soldiers away, then escorts you to his tent. After you clarify that your warriors are not mercenaries, he asks you what do you intend to do with Iberacum after the defeat of the Emperor. The nobleman ponders the possibilities for a long time. He might even think about refusing to help you in the name of the Roman nobles and the Senate. Finally, he asks you why you were searching for the camp.
The first gate is in the marshes to the west. The second one is in an old monastery where Fomorians dwell. And the third is in the vicinity of the wall and opens in the Caracalla Manor. To close a gate, one has to break the seal that keeps it open. You must destroy or take away the crystals that were used to construct the seals. First, we have to seize Iberacum. If the city is ours, we can prevent the Emperor summoning the Colossi to the wall. Or we can use these arcane constructs for our own purposes.
After the negotiations are over, you return to your army waiting for you in the ravine. Then you leave the peninsula. Following the negotiations, Tullius Caracalla sends one of his lieutenants to join your army and help you to defeat the mad emperor. The young Roman champion is skilled both in the ways of battle and in the arcane secrets of the Caracalla family. He can be of great service to you.
On my way.
On my way!
The She Council has been the most secretive of all the keepers of arcane secrets. However, now they are stranded.
Ready to serve. Ready to serve.
The self-titled emperor of the former Roman provinces. The self-titled emperor of the former Roman provinces, Septimus Sulla, commands the Ghost Legions, the once legendary warriors who have returned from the mists of the other world. You can't fight an army where the soldiers keep coming back, so you must close the gates with the Shard of the Grail. One of these gates can be found under a ruined monastery. Your army is marching through Fomorian lands. When you feel the shard getting warmer in your hand, you must be getting close to the western gate to the other world. You guess that the ghosts should be near, and it turns out that you're right. The restless spirits attack your army soon. After destroying your enemies, you look around and see an ancient monastery where Navia and the ghost legionaries of the Emperor returned from Samain the first time. A strange blue light shines through the window, and when you get close, you feel as if you are crossing the border between worlds. You see a ghastly apparition in the monastery. A ghost trapped here, close to the gate. Now he is roaming endlessly between the two worlds. You say a prayer with closed eyes. Then you recite the Latin incantation from the prayer book of Saint Raphael. You touch the ethereal body of the ghost. When you utter the last word, you see the understanding in his eyes. He thanks you wordlessly, then leaves. The monastery has large underground sections, and while you are wandering in the vaults, you find a huge hall which may have been the archives once. The shelves are empty, but you see a pile of scrolls that burn with blue flames to your surprise. You realize that you can see glimpses from the other world. The scrolls have been burned here, but in the other world they are still intact. The letters are glowing blue, so you can read what is written on them. You don't know how the flames from beyond will affect you, though. You try to decide if the scrolls are worth the risk and what you should do next. The flames burn brightly, raging silently in the other world, and it takes a considerable effort to put them out for a heartbeat by magic. You take one scroll with a swift move. You are sure you won't be able to do this again for a while until your arcane abilities are refreshed. You have to decide fast. Which scroll will you take from the pile? The scroll is about the colossi of the Emperor. You read it through and you gain valuable insight into the control of those giant statues imbued with arcane might, and you even know their weak points now. You try to decide if the scrolls are worth the risk and what you should do next. The flames are incredibly cold and burn your skin without any visible marks, which weakens your magical defenses. But it's even more frightening that you sense a sudden void in your memories. Nothing important, but if you touch the flames again, it could be much worse. You have to decide fast. Which scroll will you take from the pile? This scroll is about the methods and the necessary components of making a magical item. You try to decide if the scrolls are worth the risk and what you should do next. Following the impulse that you've learned to associate with the shard, you descend into the tunnels of the monastery until you reach the hall where the crystal is hidden. You wade through a thick layer of smoke and step onto a pillar in the middle of the hall, where you see the blurry silhouettes of souls ascending to the void above. You focus on the magical seal of the gate, but you are shocked to realize that it's not there. It looks like the Emperor pierced a hole in the veil of the world. You are able to close the gate temporarily because you are in the possession of the shard, but you can't stay. Your place is on the battlefield in the fight against the Emperor.
Ready to serve.
Your wish? Your wish? Your wish? On my way!
Yes, my lord. On my way. On my way. On my way.
Deep in the marshland, where an ancient stone circle withstands the destructive force of the wind, lingers the ghost of a she-sorceress who was worshipped as the Lady of the Lost Roads by the local tribe. She was defeated by Emperor Sula, who bound her soul to a crystal that guards a gate. You should try to negotiate with her. She might help you with her considerable powers.
On my way. Yes, my lord. On my way.
Yes, my lord! All right. Your wish? On my way!
Yes, my lord. On my way. On my way.
The mad emperor of Ibaracum, Septimus Sula, commands the Ghost Legions, the once legendary warriors who have returned from the mists of the other world. You can't fight an army where the soldiers keep coming back, so you must close the gates. As you get closer to the heart of the former Caracalla land, strange emotions fill your soul. Enormous energies rage around Hadrian's Wall, and your shard of the Grail begins to pulse. You hear snippets of twisted whispering and a humming. but there is no one around besides you. Even the landscape is unnatural. It looks as if it has been frozen by the touch of the winter. Tendrils of fog creep between the dead trees, and the ground is covered by a thin layer of ice. Your soldiers are cold, though it is not freezing weather. To your great surprise, the former Caracalla villa is not guarded by ghost legionaries. You are relieved and anxious at the same time, as it may also be a bad sign. Your troops surround the building, and you descend the stairs to the secret hall. When you step in, you see something very strange there. You immediately see what the hall is for when you see the blood-red runes on the walls. The stub of a Roman marble statue holds a magical crystal that burns with a blue light. One of the walls is missing, and you only see an empty void in its place. There is only a blurry, flickering layer of mist where the wall should be. You see constantly changing silhouettes behind it. Your warriors are still busy finding out what you are looking for, so you realize that only you are able to detect the phenomena. You carefully touch the wall with your hand, and you feel the shard turn red hot. You feel tremendous power and terrible horror at the same time. You also sense the presence of a cruel entity which is trying to get inside your mind. It takes a while to pull yourself together. Suddenly you are aware of the identity of that presence. It was the abnormal, sick essence of the Emperor of New Rome. This place was one of the most important sources of his power, so he still must have some connection with it. The statue is clearly magical. Although it is unable to move, it is alive in some way. When it feels your presence, it opens its glowing eyes.
What is your purpose, creature?
You ask him. I guard the seal as you have ordered, Your Highness. Do you want me to give it to you? The statue answers obediently. The golem hesitates for a heartbeat. Then it answers you in a stern, lifeless voice. The crystal only belongs to the Emperor, and you are not him. If you try to take it, I must destroy it. This worries you because it is dangerous to unleash the powers dwelling inside. You decide to destroy the crystal. You send out everybody from the hall, then attack the golem with your weapon. The creature crushes the crystal, and bright, magical light floods the room. You wake up to the voice of your warriors, who try to move you out of the ruins. The gate, the statue, and the crystal have simply vanished. You paid a big price, but you are one step closer to overcoming the Emperor. The ghost gates are now closed, except for the one where the Emperor tore a hole in the veil of the world. You must return there and destroy the ghost legions once more. Although you can't seal this gate, you will be able to prevent the ghastly warriors from coming back and to weaken the Emperor's powers so he can be defeated. This will bind you in place though, leaving Morgana Le Fay with the task of marching against the Emperor himself.
You're here at last, Southerner. I've watched you march across my land, bent on tearing down all that I've built. Had I not been bound to the seat of my power, I would have met you on the battlefield to deal with your rebellion long ago. But now you are almost within my reach. You think you can best my grand design? Then come, challenge me. You may have defeated some of my servants, but know that they are nothing compared to what awaits you at my wall.
Ready to serve.
All right. I must admit, Heir of Pendragon, that you have proven yourself true to your knightly oath. Although you are certain that you cannot close the Nethergate with that shard of the Grail, you nevertheless stand your ground and keep away the ghastly legions while I march into battle. I am much honored, and be assured that I will take care of the mad puppet emperor. The wall is a magical construction after all, and I shall make sure that it becomes a tomb for the Emperor.
Ready to serve.
Your wish?
The She Council would like to examine the shards of the Grail. The She Council has been the most secretive of all the keepers of arcane secrets. However, now they are stranded in Viraconium, cut off from their magical land of Tir na Nog, and they...
Ready to serve.
The enemy hero is casting a... The enemy hero is casting a... The enemy hero is casting a spell. Your magic shield is under normal strength. A spell was cast. The enemy has cast a spell. The enemy hero is casting a spell. The enemy has cast a spell. Weather conditions changed. Your unit is going to die. A spell was cast. A spell was cast. Weather conditions changed. A spell was cast. A spell was cast. A spell has been cast. Your spell was absorbed. Weather conditions changed. A spell was cast. Weather conditions changed. A spell has been cast. A spell has been cast. Your spell was absorbed. A spell has been cast. Your spell was absorbed. A spell was cast. The enemy hero is casting a spell. Your soldiers are going to die. Your men are going to die. A spell has been cast. Your soldiers are going to die. Your units are in danger. A spell was cast. The enemy has cast a spell. Your men are going to die. We are losing the battle. A spell has been cast. Your men are going to die. A spell has been cast. Your units are in danger. A spell has been cast. Your men are going to die. A spell was cast. Your hero is in grave danger. The enemy hero is casting a spell. A spell has been cast. A spell was cast. Weather conditions changed. The enemy hero is casting a spell. A spell was cast. The enemy has cast a spell. The enemy has cast a spell. Your men are going to die. Your unit is going to die. Your units are in danger. Your soldiers are going to die. A spell was cast. The enemy has cast a spell. Your unit is going to die. A spell has been cast. A spell has been cast. A spell was cast. Your units are in danger. The enemy has cast a spell. A spell has been cast. A spell has been cast. A spell has been cast. Your men are going to die. A spell has been cast. A spell has been cast. The enemy started to capture one of your... The enemy started to capture one of your locations. Enemy units have captured a location. A spell was cast. The enemy has cast a spell. A spell was cast. A spell was cast. A spell has been cast. A spell was cast. A spell has been cast. The enemy has cast a spell. Your units are in danger. The enemy has cast a spell. The enemy has cast a spell. The enemy has cast a spell. A spell has been cast.
Outstanding! You have conquered my realm and defeated my puppet, so you must wield true power. I can finally abandon this charade of a long-dead emperor and once again serve a worthy master. I had to deceive Septimus Sula to inspire greatness in him, but you, Morgana Le Fay, you shall know my true secrets. I am a shard of the Grail, and the power I hold shall be placed in your capable hands.
I must admit, Lord Pendragon, that when I gave my word to you that I would find my master, I never imagined that my travels would take me this far north. And the journey is still not over. I must follow Nimue through the mystical gate that opens from the secret tower of the Sidhe. The tower is nearby, just north of Hadrian's Wall. I shall continue my journey there. ready to serve. Yes, my lord! Yes, my lord!
Nimue fled to the northern lands. You can follow her through the mystical gates that only open from the towers of the Sidhe. They are rare though, and even the closest one is north of Hadrian's Wall. It was a long, arduous journey through the Pict lands, but you are close. You follow the river north up a gentle slope. As you try to find a good place to cross the river, you find a bridge guarded by a newly built watchtower. A knight appears, and he wants to know who you are and what your business is. The guard escorts you to a camp across the bridge. You meet a thin, tall knight in the tent. He introduces himself as Sir Percival, which leaves you speechless for a heartbeat. This man wearing the armament of the Knights of the Round Table is a living legend. He wants to know why you are here. Sir Percival looks at you curiously and smiles.
I've never been in the service of Arthur, and he never wanted me to. We just lived for the same principles, which still guide me in my life. But what do you know about our deceased king?
Sir Percival looks perplexed, then suspicious. The king is alive? He whispers, as if saying it aloud would break the charm. When you nod silently, he sits down in his chair and buries his face in his hands. After a while, Sir Percival gets to his feet, politely asks you to wait, then hurries out of the tent. The knights outside are already in their saddles. You also get on a horse and join them on the way to the northeast, and after some time you gallop to the front to Sir Percival.
I know that tower. The sentinels tried to destroy it several times, but to no avail. What do you want to do there?
Percival listens to you carefully and tells you that in this case, Lancelot would surely let you into the tower, even if that means he has to antagonize each and every member of the Order.
I don't know. I found him in a monastery with a serious wound. He had a strange shard embedded in his body. According to the monks, he was carried there by Sir Balan, but I've been unable to find the knight since then. Maybe he perished at Hadrian's Wall after he went south. He remembers nothing about that day, but sometimes he dreams about himself charging someone with his sword, but never gets the chance to save his king. Lancelot wakes up feeling futile every day. I am afraid he is losing his mind. What happened that day? The knight nods grimly, and you keep riding without a word. When you reach the fortress at dawn, Percival leads you to Lancelot. He is a haggard, grim man with a strong presence. After polite greetings, he tells you that he would like to talk to Percival first. Lancelot tells Percival that he knows the whereabouts of Sir Balan. Sir Malagent is keeping him in captivity and wants a ransom for his release. In return, Percival tells him everything he heard from you, most importantly, that the king is alive. Sir Lancelot is even more surprised than Sir Percival was. His solemn face turns pale, and he doesn't say anything for a while.
Finally, he asks you if the king has recovered from his wound. You tell him about the king and the reason why you came north. Lancelot promises to help you, and then he falls silent. Something is bothering him, and after staring at you for a while, he finally inquires if the mad emperor of Ibaracum owned a magical artifact. Lancelot examines the relic, then he gives it back to you. He mumbles something under his breath. "Now I have seen the second one," he says. "You must know that young Pendragon has the third shard, but the powers of that relic are cursed." Sir Percival has experience with cursed items, and he wants to know more about the relic that young Pendragon is carrying. You tell him everything. Percival thinks that the magical defense of the monastery has imbued the shard with a spirit impression of the wizard who created the shard. Most probably, yes. In the province of Kent, in Canterbury, they keep the book of St. Augustine that has already helped to cleanse many people and objects of curses. You thank him for his valuable help and turn to Sir Lancelot. "I cannot return to my king until I know what happened on the day of his assassination," says Lancelot. Then he turns to Percival. "Send an envoy to the king to assure him of my loyalty. Then get ready. We shall set Sir Balan free." The tower stands in the wilderness, out in the mountains, in a secluded valley. "I'll send a guide with you," says Lancelot. With the sentinel guide, you reach the valley in barely 2 days. The She Tower is almost in ruins, but it still stands tall. Thorns and twines cover the slabs. You soon find the hall and the mystical gate you seek, and open the gate to the north without hesitation.
My, Lord Pendragon. You have quite a gathering of the lost champions behind Hadrian's Wall. Not only did I meet the fabled Lancelot, but I also had a very enlightening discussion with the wise Sir Percival. He has an interesting theory about the curse that has fallen upon your precious piece of the Grail. You must find Sir Galahad, the greatest of the Grail Knights, now the loyal bloodhound of the pious Saxons of Norfolk. Persuade him to cleanse that shard, that you may use it to seal the Nethergates again. Finally, I have found a fading tower. Now I shall set off for the cold northern lands of the mysterious Queen Morgause. I shall leave my men behind, as I can only take some of my chosen warriors, but rest assured, Nimue is close, and I shall deal with her shortly.
Yes, my lord.
Your wish? All right.
Yes, my liege. Young sir, don't judge me on my long absence from court. You must be aware that I spent a long time in a haze of forgetfulness. I was only driven by sheer hatred for the crawling monsters, without any memories of how I ended up here. But now I am ready to offer you both my sword and my solemn oath that I am still the same Lancelot who fought for Britannia. And I promise you that I'll find out what happened to your father, the king, and I on that fateful night when the Grail was destroyed. First, I will find Sir Balan, who brought me here.
I believe I have proven myself worthy of my promises, son of Arthur. I have been hunting Nimue so relentlessly that I had to leave my warriors along the way. And here I am, alone in this bleak wilderness, in desperate need of allies. But sometimes the old gods are grateful. I received a messenger from the former king of the Sidhe, Oberon, who abandoned his people and came here to lord over the storms and the rain. He might be a valuable ally, so I'm going to accept his invitation.
London is the final refuge in the south. No wonder that even this huge stronghold now overflows with refugees who live in abominable conditions. Public safety has reached... London has a very effective army owing to their strict training methods. You could trust them. London is swarming with hedge knights, brave warriors stripped of their lords and lands by the cataclysm, as they have proven themselves very useful during Fomorian sieges. Sir Caradoc overlooks their constant troublemaking and drinking. London is the last safe haven in a vast wasteland. There are adepts among the Sidhe, who mortals would call...
Yes, my liege. Yes, my lord. Ready to serve. Yes, my liege.
Sir Balan used to be a knight of the Round Table, and the only one who might be able to tell you what happened before you lost your memories. Unfortunately, Sir Balan